All right, AP Econ, we're coming down home stretch. Going to review fiscal policy here now that we have a better understanding of monetary. After this, I might have maybe a little bit more where I go into a little bit of analysis, the fiscal and monetary together, how they might interact, how they might conflict with each other. Okay, but to get back to our previous unit, expansionary fiscal policy. Hopefully, we remember that expansionary fiscal policy would be when the federal government reduces taxes or increases spending so that there's more money out there. Okay? And unlike monetary policy, which starts by affecting the money market, this one directly affects aggregate supply and aggregate demand. Okay, so, if we ever want to start to establish differences between the effectiveness or, the relationship of monetary and fiscal policy, it is worth understanding, that they might kind of sort of have the same effect, but they kind of do so in more direct or indirect ways. Okay, now the next thing to understand that, one thing that we learned is that people are going to want more money if the price level goes up. So the demand for money is going to go up, and the demand for loanable funds is also likely to go up as GDP goes up. Okay? So all of these things are going to happen, and that increases interest rates. I mentioned earlier the interaction of fiscal and monetary, and maybe even I mentioned the vocabulary word crowding out. This is a good time to just take a quick look and to see that this is something that the federal government might do when we're in a recession, right? They might spend money, lower taxes so people have more money. A quick introduction to crowding out can be shown right here. If that is going to indirectly raise interest rates, we should already know that when interest rates go up, that actually reduces aggregate demand, okay? Now, probably not as much as that original infusion of money, but that's the concept of crowding out, how sometimes the side effects of a policy end up hurting that policy some. Okay? But we don't have to think on and on and on and on and on and on and long term. But that is what crowding out is. Of course, returning to this, we should understand that a policy like this is going to increase production, which means it's going to lower unemployment, but it's going to raise prices. Okay, so now we already learned that the negative side effect of expansionary fiscal policy would be the raising of interest rates. That's going to lower bond prices. It's going to decrease unemployment. It's going to increase production. This is a tough one. When interest rates go up, we can say that investment's going to go down, I guess. Unless that spending was investment, but we don't know. We don't have to think about that too much. Okay, price level is going to go up, and real GDP is going to go up in the short run. And the whole goal of this, of course, is to reduce unemployment and increase production. Okay, now one thing that, the deepest thing that I think AP could ask you might be something like, well, what might the Federal Reserve do to combat this? Right? So if we look right here were interest rates when we started, but now the government, Congress and the president, spent money and decreased taxes, causing a raise in interest rates. The deepest I think that they would go might be like, what action might the Federal Reserve take to combat this? And the answer would be expansionary monetary. If the Federal Reserve now increases the money supply, look, they can keep interest rates right where it was. Okay? So, again, just something to think about, a little bit of analysis on top of understanding the graphs. That's as deep as AP Econ is going to want us to go. All right? Real quick, here is the opposite. Contractionary fiscal policy is when the government and the president, Congress and the president, the government raises taxes or reduces spending. So there's less money out there. Obviously, it is going to decrease aggregate demand. And when there's less money being spent and, the economy is slower, that decreases the demand for money as well as the desire for loanable funds. Some people might even say, well, maybe the government's taking that money that they're not spending and maybe they're putting it in the loanable funds market. Either way, real interest rates go down. Okay? And what that's going to do is going to have a controlling effect on the price level. But it's going to increase unemployment. All right, quick little review. So, interest rates are going to go down, which means bond prices are going to go up. We know that unemployment is going to increase. Production's going to decrease. I don't know about the short term, but sometime soon with lower interest rates, maybe investment might go up. That might be like a little nice side effect. The price level is going to go down, which is the main reason that the government might have such a policy, and real GDP in the short run decreases. Okay, so there's a quick little review. Most of that we already knew about fiscal policy, but now we can kind of look and see how it affects monetarily. Okay, remember guys, 1 o'clock, if you have questions, if you want to apply these to some AP questions, and just let me know how I can help you this next week to prepare for the AP test.